When you think of Italy, chances are places like Rome, Tuscany, Milan, pretty certain the Amalfi will be in there, they all come to mind. But what about Sicily? The island, separate from the mainland, tucked away at the bottom of the proverbial boot that makes up the shape of Italy. Is it really worth a visit? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top reasons why I believe Sicily should be your next holiday destination. And trust me, I do not say this lightly. So, if you want to know more about what it's like to live in South Italy, indeed explore more of Sicily and discover the things that you need to see and do, whether you plan to visit here or live here, then you are in the right place. So I guess my next question to you before we begin is, will you subscribe? Let's get into the video. Reason number one, of course, has to be for Sicily's beaches. The beaches and the water here in Sicily is absolutely magnificent. Now, I used to live in Salerno, which is very close to the Amalfi, and the water there was good, but Sicily absolutely tops it. There are some beautiful beaches across all of Sicily. We've got Modica here in Palermo, which is famous for its beautiful water, but unfortunately suffers for this fame in the summer months due to the sheer number of tourists that visit. But then we also have San Vito lo Capo, which has been likened to the Caribbean for its beautiful long stretches of sandy beaches and turquoise water. It's incredible. So if you love a beach holiday and you want to experience beautiful clear water and clean beaches, this is where you need to come. Now, I do feel that I have to put a disclaimer here because unfortunately we are living in a time where pollution does impact the quality of some of the beaches and the water at times. But generally speaking, the water here is magnificent, and this is the first reason why I think you should visit Sicily. Of course, it goes without saying, the food is another incredible reason to visit Sicily. Sicily is renowned for its beautiful cuisine, just as the whole of Italy is. And the magical thing about it is, what makes Sicily special is in every single part of Sicily that you visit, you will discover a local delicacy, a local typical dish that you can try that tastes its absolute best in that particular part of Sicily. Now, this is also the same for Italy as well, which is why I think to live in Italy is to live in the middle of a culinary adventure. But Sicily is incredible. In Palermo, we have the street food, and we've got the beautiful street food markets that you can visit and sample all the delicacies. If you travel south to Modica, you taste chocolate that you have never tasted in your life. It is the purest form of chocolate that I think I've ever sampled. There is so much to eat your way through here in Sicily, and for me it's another magical reason to come and visit this part of Italy, to try all of the food that makes this part of Italy extremely famous. The monuments. There are so many beautiful historical monuments here in Sicily, and you know, in Palermo we have so many that you can see, but also the further south you go in Sicily, the more oldie worldy it becomes, for want of a better word, and you really get to experience the true essence of what it's like to live here in South Italy. It's very traditional and very beautiful, and I think, you know, this is something that makes this part of Italy so special, because you really get to feel like you have stepped back in time in certain parts of Sicily. And that's a very magical feeling, and something that's very unique, I feel, to this part of Italy is the fact that you feel like you are living what you expect life in Italy to be like, the Italian dream, the dream that we all envision. Well, when you're in certain parts of Sicily, it definitely feels like that. And it's the traditional iconic images that we hold of Italy that you can find here in Sicily. Well, the weather, of course, I have to mention as an incredible reason to visit Sicily. Because we are so close to Africa, we often experience milder temperatures compared to the rest of Italy. So if you consider that we are in January and we have experienced temperatures of 24 degrees, and now I have just suffered my first Zanzara bite of the year, I think you can understand that the weather here is good. We have a couple of months every year where there is a lot of rain, typically. I think, you know, global warming is changing that a little, but the summers here are very hot. You can expect 40-degree temperatures, and often we have what we call desert rain, which is like the sand rain that comes down and you see like all the cars are covered in it in like this brown dust. And it's simply because of where we are. We are so close to like, you know, the really hot countries in the world, and it benefits our climate in this way too. And there is nothing more magical than walking in a park and you're not always surrounded by trees, but you're surrounded by palm trees. And that is amazing. And, you know, to even have leaves on the trees in January and February is incredible. So for the climate, for the weather, Sicily is a really beautiful place to visit. And, you know, people swim in the sea here, even in October and November, which doesn't really happen in other parts of Italy. So I think this is really, really special. Another reason why I think you should visit Sicily is for the people. The people here are warm. They're warm-hearted. They make you feel welcome. You know, they hold festivals and get-togethers, especially in the smaller villages and towns, and you feel like there is a community here. It is this warmth that drew me to South Italy in the first place, but I feel it more so, even more here in Sicily. People here are incredibly kind, and, you know, whilst I say this with a very generalised brush, people here really do go out of their way for you and make you feel included. And I think the warmth of the people here is an incredible reason to want to visit. And just to see like the traditions and the culture and experience that for yourself through, as I said, the many local festivals that are held here is another amazing reason to want to come and visit Sicily. Churches. Now, I'm not really a religious girl. I used to go to church when I was younger, but as I've grown up, I've become a bit more spiritual in terms of religion. But I have to be honest, the churches here are magnificent. I've said it in previous videos, but they are like works of art, and they are absolutely worth a visit. And I think, you know, this goes for pretty much all of Italy because Italy is such a religious country, but there's something very special about the churches here in Sicily, and also the fact that they're everywhere and they're really, really beautiful both outside and in. And sometimes you find a place which looks so plain from the outside, but you step in and it's just the most magnificent building that you've ever seen. And let's not forget, we've got the cathedral here in Monreale, which is rumoured to have like over 2,000 kilograms of gold that makes up the mosaics inside. So there is a lot of beauty to be found here in the churches and cathedrals dotted around Sicily. And I think, you know, this is another incredible reason to want to come and visit this part of Italy. Another reason for me is more of a personal reason, but I think you get to experience real Italy when you come here to Sicily. I feel like Italy sometimes is romanticized to the point where it becomes a parody of what it really is. You know, people go to Rome, they take all the pictures in, you know, the traditional tourist spots, and they believe that that is real Italy, but it isn't. It's a manufactured bubble in the same way that, for example, Amalfi is. But if you come to Sicily, you really see Italy for what it is. Yes, you have the parts where, you know, perhaps the cleaning is done to a higher standard and, you know, things are a bit better organised because of the tourists. But generally speaking, you feel the real essence of Italy here in Sicily. There is no pretense. We don't try to be something that we're not, especially here in Palermo. And you can feel that. And it's kind of that wild energy that kind of makes this place very attractive, because it's not trying to be pretentious. It very much owns what it is as a part of Italy. People look down on Sicily and, you know, they praise it on the one hand for all the reasons that I've mentioned so far in this video, but then they criticize it because they say it's a poor part of Italy and, you know, people don't know how to look after this part of Italy, which is true on many respects. But also, it's not trying to be this glitzy glam Monte Carlo region of this country. It is what it is. And I think sometimes that's the magic of it. If you really want to experience Italy, heart and soul, you don't go to Rome, you come here to Sicily. Sicily is vast, and you don't realise that until you start living here and you understand it takes you like 2 or 3 hours to reach a city that on a map doesn't look that far away from you. But it's an incredibly diverse region. You have the beaches, you have glorious countryside, you have cities. It's a mishmash of everything. And when people say Sicily is not part of Italy, I used to take offence to that, goodness knows why. This is not my country in that respect, but just because I was like, well, it is. What are you trying to say? But actually, the more I spend time here, the more I realize that no, it's not part of Italy. It's real, it's raw, it's unpretentious, and it is everything that I wish Italy could be more of. So the next time you're thinking of visiting this country, I almost want to tell you, don't forget about Sicily.